Welcome to Inner Voice of Knowing podcast. I'm Kaye Doran, a shamanic leadership coach and healer, guiding you through life with a foot in both worlds. When you understand the terrain of the inner landscapes, the mental, emotional, spiritual and energetic, you will become the leader within your physical life, both personally and professionally. After all, the power of change is in your hands. Let's get this journey started. Welcome back to Inner Voice of Knowing. This is a really important topic, and one that years ago, I can't even remember now, it might have been in my late 20s, early 30s, by learning to witness myself, by observing others, by understanding energy, I called this process the gathering of the army, when really what we need to be doing is seeking out truth speakers, or as I also like to call them, wisdom keepers. So what am I really talking about? This is prevalent in life, both personally and professionally. We've all done it, so everyone has to put up their hand at some point, regardless of age. And we behave like this, or we respond like this because of things that are triggered that sit in our unconscious. Because if you choose to gather your army and you have conscious awareness around certain triggers that you have, then you're making a conscious choice. But generally, this is what happens, and this is why it's so important to stop and do the process of what I call turning the vision inwards when we feel triggered, when we feel reactive, when we feel defensive, when we're angry and passing judgment. Okay, so this takes learning, constant learning, and creating new core values along the way as well, and choosing how you choose to live and what you choose to implement. Power word here is choice and what you're choosing. So I did a post on this earlier today. As always, I had a different concept of what I was going to speak about. And then as I'm getting ready, that inner voice of knowing is like, this is the topic. And probably because the post has had strong response in terms of just how powerful this subject is to talk about. So here we go. You have something in life, either personally or professionally, because this truth expands across all of your life, every interaction. So something happens, you feel deeply defended, defensive. What you've really started to do too is build a story, an overlaid story, before we've unmasked the truth around a particular experiences of what's been written or what's been said or what and how something has taken place. And maybe it triggers also some of that victim mode. I am a victim to these words, to these actions, to what's been taking place. So what you do, what everyone has done, you pick up the phone or you reach out somehow to what I call the gathering of the army. The gathering of the army is ringing one or contacting one or more people to tell and speak about your experience and what has taken place in order for them to completely and utterly join you in the validation of your trigger, right? Because at the deepest level, when we hold beliefs, or as I prefer to call them, false stories and beliefs, then we need for that belief to truly remain in existence for others to validate it for us. So gathering of the army is the gathering of the people that mirror back a similar trauma, a similar trigger, a similar wound, whatever language you would like to give it. They hold a similar false story and belief. So the minute you start speaking about and sharing your experience, they will immediately get onto the bandwagon and go, yes, he or she is terrible. Isn't that terrible? How horrible to happen to you. And everyone starts weaving the web of where the other is coming from. But it's a projection. It's not an energetic observation and understanding. It's a projection. And the projection is required. The story is there to validate your reactiveness, to validate how you are feeling. And this is not about denying and suppressing and saying that your feelings or that your reactiveness is wrong. We're just saying that when you do this response, this knee-jerk response, and you gather your army and everyone starts agreeing with you, and it becomes a bullying mode because energetically then the other person is experiencing, if they're not aware of energy and its influence and where it might be coming from, then we're energetically bullying. It's like gathering around, metaphorically around someone and throwing stones, throwing blame, picking on somebody. And we all know what that's like in school. Well, maybe some don't, but most generally everyone I talk to has been picked on and turned on at some point growing up. It's not a nice feeling. So what they're doing is you are all, but you can only be responsible for yourself. You are contracting your energy. You are seeking unconscious validation to say that your feelings and those false stories and beliefs are true. And then it alienates another, because unless we actually communicate directly with somebody or can feel into the truth of the energy beyond the illusion of our initial reactiveness, we don't know what someone's intent is. I had someone once raising their voice to me over the phone telling me how angry I was. And I'm like, no, I'm actually really calm. I'm not reactive. I'm not triggered. And they got louder and louder in the projection of, but they could feel my anger. And there was absolutely no anger there. And no energetic pathway in how I spoke for that person to even listen. Right? This is how heavy projection can be and story building can be when it comes from the unconscious patterns and responses. So what do we need to do instead? And this is a form of self-care. Everything that I speak about is about self-care. A client said to me yesterday that going through some really challenging situations in life, she'd forgotten to actually care for her energy, therefore caring for herself. Right? So as much as we care for our bodies and our minds, we need to care for our energy as well. So we need to stop and not pick up that phone or send that email or sit at a lunch with your friends that may not be wisdom keepers. Now, this is no judgment on somebody else. You may only have one wisdom keeper in your life, or you may need to seek out a wisdom keeper in the form of a coach such as myself or a healer such as myself that will not step into the story. Someone that helps you to move into deeper meaning and deeper understanding by turning your vision inwards. Not by holding you captive in old patterns and responses. Hence, when I say it actually contracts us energetically, we do harm to ourselves. And more harm because we build more energy, the more people that we get involved in building our army. But even if it's just you and one other, it does not serve you in the highest way. It holds you in a holding pattern. It feeds into and anchors more deeply something old, rather than recognizing that when we are reactive like that, when we go into those feelings of anger and I need to defend myself and how dare they, it's an opportunity. It's opportunity knocking. Saying, because you feel this way, there is something for you to release, recalibrate, and reclaim. So how do we do that? First, we stop and we recognize it. Then I have a couple of wisdom keepers in my life. If they're not available and I can't deal with this myself, because a lot of this I can deal with myself as well because I've been doing this a very long time. I've got a wisdom keeper in my husband, and I've got a couple of close friends that I know are wisdom keepers. And I've got a particular person that I go see for healing. A couple of people that I know are wisdom keepers. They're not part of an army. They're lantern holders, wisdom keepers, truth speakers that will develop and look at everything from a greater perspective. I might ring one and I might vent. And I might need to say, I'm just doing a shadow vent, right? Because we're not asking you. I'm not asking you to suppress anything. But by naming it as a shadow vent and knowing when they contact me, when they're in that emotional state, and I know that they're wisdom keepers, so I know that they may not have said it, but they're doing a shadow vent, which means feeling honest to that emotion that's there, expressing that it feels unjust and all the rest of it, because they're purging it out of themselves. That part in the shadow needs to feel heard, needs to have a space to come out and be heard and seen and loved, not held captive. And then the questioning will come, the deep questioning. Either you do this for yourself or the wisdom keepers will start asking questions. What are you really feeling? What's really going on? What's been triggered for you? Can we find the gift in this? Do we really know beyond a shadow of doubt that what you're saying is true? That's a powerful question. So, do I really know, if I'm saying it to myself, do I really know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is what this person has done and where they've come from, what their intention has been? And why? Why do I feel so reactive? What within me needs to be noticed? What within me needs to be recalibrated within the nervous system? What is the truth of my reactiveness? I think you get the drift. Asking these powerful questions that are starting to turn our vision back inwards, no longer projecting. You might do some things like the breathing in the nose quickly twice and then letting that breath out, or the heart intelligence breathing. The breathing in for 4 with 4 anchoring words. I listen to source, or I feel calm now. Holding that breath with those 4 words, dropping the jaw and releasing that breath with those 4 words, and breathing in this cyclical 4-4-4 pattern, aligning with words that calm the system. Or like I said, the double breath in through the nose, big long breath out. What I also do is the breathing in of beauty. I also invite source, or God in, if you like, whatever word you use, more deeply, presence, to be more deeply aware within me and within this situation. Removing all illusion and revealing to me the truth. Making the voice so loud of knowing within me that there is no doubt. And then give me the strength to walk the path laid before me from love, from truth, from compassion and understanding. Now that's an activation and an intention for the illusion to be removed, for the truth. I'm calling up truth from within myself, what's really going on. I'm calling on the support from the most powerful and most potent source, God source. And I'm activating it from within myself for that voice of knowing, power and potential to be so loud that I can then act and move and respond and speak from love. So all aspects are being heard, but the process is the choosing to find the gift in the opportunity. And the opportunity within this adversity for ourselves to heal, if you like, to expand our energy, to reclaim more that exists within us that is hurt, that needs to come back into remembrance and realignment, brought back into love, compassion, understanding, and therefore the forgiveness, as you'll hear me say. And my wisdom keepers will hold space for me or ask those questions to me. And then if it requires a verbal or a written response, because some things as you unmask within inside yourself, it's just like this is done within me now. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't also matter what the other person's intention was if you're not willing to communicate and find out and receive and accept that. Because it may have come from a beautiful place, but because of lenses that we wear, it could be a gift that had been handed to us. But if you feel the need to write or speak any form of response, this is what I recommend. This is what I do personally. If I have an email response, I will write it out. I put no address in the address so it can't accidentally be sent. I write it out and then I walk away. I don't even get my wisdom keeper to read it straight away. I walk away. This is my responsibility. And I might come back at the end of the day, or I might come back at it in the morning when I've had a chance to just be disconnected from it, to come back with fresh eyes and a more open heart. And I allow that time to continue to deepen my understanding, to release, recalibrate, expand my energy with breathing in beauty, going for a walk, shaking it off, drumming my drums, whatever it is I need to do to just keep the unlayering going. Meditation, prayer, affirming, invoking, And then I might come back and I might rewrite it. And then I still don't send it. I recommend that you let one of your wisdom keepers, because you know they will always be honest with you, give you their honest opinion. And you might be being too emotional here. Why is that? What's still going on for you? Is this part necessary? What is your intention? Because if your intention is to always acknowledge a reflectiveness through a reactiveness, through emotional discord, so that you can come back to your heart space, remember the reclamation of yourself, the acknowledgement that if something's been triggered, there is something inside of you calling out to be acknowledged, accepted back into the heart of love and compassion and understanding. It's an opportunity. And in taking this path with wisdom keepers rather than, gathering your army, you deepen that connection to the inner voice of knowing, power and potential. Answers and insights flow. It might be that it's a learning. You've been expanding your energy so much, stepping into this next calling of yourself and your life and your aspirations, that this very thing might be reflecting back to you what you need to let go of. Maybe it's an old pattern that you've had for a lifetime that comes around and it's like, here's another power question, does this fit the person I'm choosing to expand into? Does this fit with who and how I would respond as this next version of myself? Is this expansive or contracting? Is it showing me where I need to surrender, what I need to release? And in that might be your gift, your opportunity. Is it a boundary that you haven't recognized that has been crossed, which is not someone else's fault? Is it a learning for what you will and will not allow moving forwards? It could be so many things, but only walking the path of wisdom and seeking the support and the voices and the reflection back of wisdom keepers that won't pass judgment and blame on the other person. They'll just go, let's stand in the center of this. We will hold space for you to be in the center of this and remove your tainted lenses of perception and support you to rise into a new and greater perspective so that you may be released from this. And then always know your intention, because intention is at the heart of everything. Your intention is either to be nasty and defend and let another know how unkind or terrible they are, put them back in their place, or your intention is to reset boundaries, to respond. Certain things or behaviours might need to be called out, but not from unkindness, merely because that's what you know is needed, but not from malice, not from nastiness, not from defensiveness, and not from reactiveness. Simply from truth, aligned with your values. Because intention, your driving force from within, your intention must be aligned, intention of the highest, intention to come from truth and to come from heart space and to come from understanding. Your intention is your values, your deepest core values, in alignment with your words and in alignment with your actions. So before something is said and addressed, or before something is written and sent, you need to take that time to contemplate it, to write it, to release it, to revisit it, to rearrange it if need be, and then to take it to a wisdom keeper or wisdom keepers. So that when you address anything of such importance, you are coming from good intention, not harm. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how someone else responds, how someone else reacts, what someone else says. It does not matter. If you are triggered, the journey is for you to go inwards. Because when the nervous system is cleared, when you have uprooted the illusionary false stories and beliefs that you have been carrying, that have held you captive in the passenger seat, back seat, or boot of your life, when you bring all this into conscious awareness and you bring it back into your love heart space through love and compassion and understanding, when you can honestly bring that compassion and that understanding to another person and say, at the end of the day, all that matters is that I know where I have come from. I know that my intention and integrity is aligned through values, aligned with words, and aligned with the action. And when you're in that space, someone else could write something horrible, doing their best to bring you down, doing their best to teach you a lesson. But when it does not affect you and you just read it going, or you just let it land and you feel like you're in that place of witnessing, then you can thank the experience, thank the person or the people involved. Thankful, grateful, deeply appreciative, because you took, let's metaphorically say, that lump of coal, and you turned that experience by turning inwards, by not gathering your army, by taking the power path, by seeking wisdom keepers, truth speakers that guide you into and through this process and support you if you know how to do it yourself but just need to vent. But it doesn't matter how much I evolve or how much I'm in my knowing of my intention, I will still bring in a wisdom keeper to just confirm if they've got nothing less to question me about, or they ask my intent and I'm very clear, or they go, that feels and sounds or reads beautifully. But you would already have that knowing. And when you come from that place, source, the universe, inner voice of knowing, power and potential, will then give you the signs to validate you and the support as well. But first, the very first decision is the choice, and instilling that you will do everything you can. That the moment you feel that reactiveness, that need to defend, that need to get unkind, that need to ring others and validate you, is that choice serving you in the highest way? Is it expansive or is it contracting? Is it a healing path back into remembrance and a seeking of inner truth? Is it a grabbing that opportunity? Or is it diminishing you? Is it holding you captive? Is it holding you small? Now remember, love, compassion, and understanding. So if you have reactiveness, if you send something and then you regret it, you can still do the work. Every moment is a new moment. But everything that I teach, that I share, everything that I take my participants through in the 12-week launching pad program is about a massive inner exposure, reclaiming, realignment, and then reframing and setting everything up externally that supports that newness that has taken place within you. And we're human beings. If you slip up, it's okay. There's a new moment and a new opportunity, always, for you to choose something else. If you feel stuck and you need support, if you know that you're elevating, or as I call it, launching and relaunching, which is always moving beyond our comfort zone, always stepping into next versions of ourselves and our lives and our aspirations and our outcomes, and you want support and you want that change to happen swiftly, reach out to me, contact me through my website. Let's have a conversation, because you don't have to do this alone. But what are you going to choose? I'll leave you with this. Are you going to gather the army or seek counsel from a wisdom keeper? Catch you next time. Join me on my next episode, and if you love this podcast, please subscribe by clicking on the plus button if you're on Apple, or like and follow on Spotify. Rate and review, and please share Inner Voice of Knowing with your friends.